Negative, false, or private information online can ruin your reputation, limit your job prospects, or even damage your personal and business relationships. A lot of people still believe that the internet is forever, and what goes up can never come down. But the reality is a little more complicated. I'm Mackenzie Detrich. Today, I'll tell you about common misconceptions about removing content online, recommended removal strategies with and without a lawyer, keeping in mind potential risks. Let's start by addressing 5 common myths about internet content removal. First, there's the myth that content can never be completely removed from the internet. It can be really challenging, sure, but complete removal is possible in many cases. Keep in mind, though, content can be easily reposted and copied across multiple platforms. Archive sites or the deep web or dark web can have their own obstacles too. Another myth is that once something is removed, the content is gone forever. Unfortunately, without a court order prohibiting it, persistent people might publish and repost negative content again and again. Plus, scraper websites and internet archives can preserve copies of content even after the original has been taken down. If you see a service promising 100% takedown success, watch out. Legitimate services should be transparent about their limitations under the law. People also believe content removal services can guarantee results. In this world, in this area of the law, nothing is guaranteed. So it's not guaranteed that something stays on the internet forever, but it's also not a guarantee that 100% of the time any content can be removed. Third-party platforms like newspapers or social media profiles have legal protections that mean full takedowns are sometimes impossible. That's when a lawyer can negotiate other options and alternatives to minimize the damage. More on that later. There's a misconception that Google controls all internet content. People ask all the time, how can I sue Google? That's not the way to go about removing content. What's really happening is Google is one of the several search engines that indexes content hosted all over the internet. Removing something from search results is called de-indexing. This is often an alternative for when full takedowns are impossible. So the only way to find the unwanted content is to know where to look, like typing in the exact URL. Lastly, Google doesn't just remove negative or defamatory content automatically, or sometimes even if you ask them nicely. These sites that host content published by other people are protected by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. This means that the host sites aren't responsible for what their users post unless it's actually illegal. Copyright claims or breaking federal criminal law wouldn't be protected by Section 230, and the site would be liable to take that content down. Since the FOSTA-SESTA Act, this includes content related to sex work as well. A lawyer who practices in internet law knows the balance of free speech protections, internet neutrality, and what crosses the line into defamation. The removal process looks different depending on what type of content it is, who owns it, and where in the world it's hosted. A lawyer will come up with different strategies for each situation. So here are our top 10 recommended strategies for removing unwanted content from the internet. I'll start with a few things you can do on your own if you don't have a lawyer. Begin by contacting the person or site directly. A professional approach can be effective when the content violates terms of service or if it's outdated. Don't forget that there are people behind the screens, at least most of the time. You can also report terms of service violations to platforms, which can prompt them to remove it. Read the platform's TOS to see if your situation qualifies. I get it though, sometimes platforms aren't very responsive or cooperative, but this effort is important to strengthen your case. Ask search engines to de-index unwanted links. De-indexing essentially makes the content unlisted or a part of the deep web. It's not technically removal, but someone would have to know where to look. Use suppression techniques to promote positive content and push negative material down in search results. How often do you go all the way to page 5 of a Google search? To do this effectively, though, it requires ongoing effort and a strong PR strategy. With a great PR team and enough patience, this can be a reliable investment that is well worth it in the long term. Updating or correcting information can be an effective way to address misleading content. This works well with news articles or other publications. For example, if there were charges against you that were dismissed, an article describing an arrest could be amended to make it clear that you weren't actually found at fault for a crime. It happens a lot that something is posted online that was true at the time. Maybe you were arrested. But once charges are dropped or enough time has passed, the article is no longer an accurate representation of what happened. Our lawyers have a lot of experience negotiating with publications to make these edits and have established relationships with many news sites to make this process easier for everyone. Being able to tell your side of the story can take a huge weight off your shoulders. If you're looking to hide your personal identifying information, or PII, opting out of data broker websites reduces the visibility of this information. PII includes your social security number, biometric data, health information, driver's license, or financial information, especially in combination with your address, phone number, photo, full legal name, employment history, IP address, and date and place of birth. Keep in mind that your address, phone number, and legal name isn't PII on its own. It's the same as what could appear in a phone book. Remember those? But if it's shown with any of the other more sensitive data, that's a cybersecurity risk. There are ways to ensure none of this information is visible, so you only show up online the way that you want to, including if you don't want to show up at all. There are services like our Digital Risk Protection that can monitor the internet for this information for you. You can find out more at our website. For copyright issues, file a DMCA takedown notice. The process is pretty straightforward and often results in quick removal of infringing content. You can submit these without a lawyer, but it does require you use your real legal information and hand it over to websites you may not always trust. Plus, the DMCA only works if you are the copyright owner of that content. For photos and videos, that means you are the one holding the camera, or you otherwise have a contract that shows you're the rightful owner. Simply being in a photo you didn't take isn't enough for a DMCA. When in doubt, a lawyer can quickly draft and submit these on your behalf. So if none of these methods have worked on your own, let's take a look at what you'll need a lawyer to help you with. A cease and desist letter is a useful tool a lawyer can draft for you. It demands the opposing party to stop harmful behavior and warns them of their legal consequences. This is sometimes enough to get the person to stop posting about you if the content crosses legal boundaries. You can technically write cease and desist letters without a lawyer, but it's easy to get wrong and you can't enforce the legal consequences without a lawyer anyway. You can't just make up a cease and desist on your own with no legal grounds or with some letterhead of a law firm you haven't hired. That's illegal. Plus, it can make your entire situation worse, further damaging your reputation and credibility. The person receiving the cease and desist has the full right to share it publicly, so it has to be airtight. We never recommend writing one on your own. Your lawyer may consider obtaining a court order for removal. Court orders are powerful, especially for defamatory content and privacy violations, although it is a complex and costly process. If the person who posted it is anonymous, this adds another legal hurdle, but it is possible to identify them if the situation warrants it. Be prepared though. This can often take the better part of a year at minimum and well into 5 figures with litigation costs. Of course, the harm being done could be costing you way more for a much longer time. For those in jurisdictions with the right to be forgotten or right to delete, a lawyer could request the removal of certain information or content. This is a lot more common in the EU, but some states like California, Illinois, and Utah have recently added similar laws. This would apply to private data or some instances of former child influencers or actors looking to delete their content when they turn 18. Your lawyer can leverage these laws like the Online Eraser Law, Delete Act, GDPR, or CCPA. It can make things easier for your case if you have access to them, but they aren't necessarily a make or break element for content removal if you're not within one of these jurisdictions. Considering these tips, you'll be able to get some of the way there without a lawyer. But if it's time to find that extra help, make sure you look for a lawyer that practices the right area of law for your problem. At Minc Law, we focus exclusively on this niche area. We handle online reputation repair, defamation, and content removal. Of course, removing negative content helps protect your reputation, but keep in mind the potential risks. We always have to be aware of the Streisand Effect. That is, calling attention to something that you want to disappear will accidentally make everything worse. I know that facing an ongoing threat of harmful content online can make you feel scared, upset, impatient, and you want a solution right away, right now. It may feel like every day the damage multiplies. Talk to a lawyer first. I understand that you want to be able to defend yourself against defamation or tell your side of the story. But going after someone publicly for a post, even if you're totally in the right, can still open you up to all sorts of problems. You add fuel to the fire, give the haters more ammunition against you, or worse, accidentally hurt your legal case. A lawyer will always tell you don't talk publicly about your case. Anything you say can and will be used against you. This is why you shouldn't make decisions in a panic. Make sure you're taking time to evaluate the full scope of the situation first. Having even just a consultation with a lawyer can help you determine what's the best move, whether it's full litigation or simply taking a vacation. The internet is a fast-paced place. Sometimes the problem solves itself over time. Whatever you were worried about gets buried in the feed, and people move on and forget. Either way, preserve evidence before taking any action. The first thing a lawyer needs is the URLs and screenshots of the content in question. Gather any evidence of the damage this content is causing you, any proof that the content is defamatory, or proof that the content belongs to you and you have the right to remove it. You've heard it before, but I'll say it again. In this world, nothing is guaranteed. The internet can change in an instant. Always get that evidence right away. If you're pursuing legal action, the evidence does make or break your case. At Minc Law, we're here to guide you through removal strategies and reclaim control of your online presence. If you're struggling with harmful content online, give us a call to speak with a member of our intake team, or visit our website, minclaw.com, to fill out our contact form or use our live chat. We'll collect the details of your specific situation and help guide you to the next steps towards achieving your goals. I'm Mackenzie Detrich, an attorney here at Minc Law. Thank you for watching and see you next time.